I have a guest with me, Charlaine Joubert. Charlaine and I have known each other for quite some time. First, she worked for a client organization, and she now has become interested in working with our work. So, welcome, Charlaine.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be with you.
Charlene, tell us a little bit about your initial exposure to care and growth and yeah, your insights around the care and growth model.
Okay. As you said, our whole relationship started off where I was part of the client. And at one stage, you invited me to attend the training. And that day was kind of rough and tumble because I was partly in the crowd listening to your lecture and partly busy with doing all the tea and coffees and lunches and everything. So I wasn't there the whole time. So I missed a lot of it. But that day, you gave me your book, The Care and Growth Model. And I took that book home and it kind of landed up in my bookshelf. And about a year ago, I was going through my bookshelf and I came across this book and I thought, I've never read this. I'm going to actually read it now. And I took it out and I started reading it. And what I found there, it really intrigued me. It was interesting. It captured my let's say my imagination. And in the process, I sent you a WhatsApp and said, "Etzko, I'm reading your book. I really find this interesting. I would become involved." And you said, "Well, become involved then." Huh? And that's where we had our initial discussion, and you explained the whole process to me of how I could become involved. And you sent me the learning material, and I started going through it. About a quarter of a way in, it was cut short. My whole learning process was cut short. My daughter lives in Qatar, and she has a company called Contactless. And what they do is they run huge events. And with the FIFA World Cup, they ran the Haya Center, which was the Visa Center. And she said to me, "Mum, I need somebody. I just need to give you a look, and you must know exactly what I want. And I just need you to run because I need somebody that I can rely on 200%. So the one moment I was still in South Africa learning about care and growth and reading in the book, and the next moment I was on a plane on my way to Qatar. I was there for 3 months. It was a phenomenal time. I had 200 people reporting to me, and those 200 people were comprised of 15 different nationalities, from Egyptians right through to Qataris and Jordanians and Lebanese, Nigerians, you name it. I had the whole shebanga there. And it was a little bit daunting, but I thrive on daunting and I thrive on challenges. So I went head on. What I did find was that the employees who were reporting to me were between the age of 18 and the eldest was 48, and they were from various backgrounds. Some of them were even medical doctors, some of them engineers. But for the time of the FIFA World Cup, they were part of that project. Some of them had come out of a working environment. Some of them had never had a job before. So I decided, okay, let's put care and growth to the test, that which I knew about care and growth. And that is exactly what I did. And I kind of warned them beforehand. I said, guys, I am a caring type of person. I have an ear that listens. I really become part of the group. But I do want you to know that I am going to send you away in 3 months' time with something that you can take to a next job. Now, in other words, I'm going to stretch you. And that was the word that I used. I'm going to stretch you a little bit. Now, I don't know if it's the age or the culture or just a general way that people perceive their jobs nowadays. But in the beginning, things went extremely well. Everybody was on time every morning. And let's say a month or so into this whole process, or even less than that, about 3 weeks into it, I could see that people's enthusiasm was going down just a little bit. And that's where the stretching came in. So I started saying, okay, so you're late. Why are you late? Is it because you missed the train? Is it because of this? Is it because of that? You didn't close off your system last night. Is that because you forgot it? Is it because you were careless? Is it because you just don't care? That kind of thing. I really had to dig deep. And then I started holding people accountable for things that they had done, whether they were careless or whether they just really didn't care, or whether they had just forgotten, or whatever the reason was. I started holding them accountable. At some stage, there was, let's call it a bit of an uproar in the group. And one day, one of the guys in my morning session, because every morning I had all 200 of them in the large hall with me, and we did like a good morning session every morning. And then the one guy said to me, they called me Miss Charlaine. Miss Charlaine, why are you being so harsh with us? Why are you penalizing us for coming late and for this and for that? And why are you stretching us so? And I said to him, I said, Ali, I promised you in the beginning that I would not send you away with nothing to take with you. And what I'm doing now is growing you as a person. I said, at this stage, it might not feel like it. It might feel like I am being harsh, but I promise you, I'm not being harsh. As time went on, they started kind of, let's call it getting used to me saying, but you need to be on time. You need to put in your full 8 or 15 or 10 hours. We need to do this. What is it that you need to do that? What is it that I can help you with? Do you not understand this? Let me help you with that. And the whole shebang of the combination of the caring and the growing. By the 3rd month, I had a team that I could have asked them to go to war with me, and they would have stood behind me like that, which for me meant that somewhere, and I know I made a lot of mistakes because I'm still new at the whole care and growth thing, but somewhere I was doing something right. And I contributed that to the fact that I had taken some of the principles of care and growth and applied it to my group of people that came into work every day. It wasn't always easy. It was not something that happened overnight. It was a process. But by the very end, we departed as friends forever, people who came to thank me, people that had written me letters and said, my first work experience or this specific work experience was something different because you treated me differently than other people have treated me before. And all of that. And I was so excited to come back and to write you a letter and to say, this was my experience. I applied what I knew about care and growth. And I really think that this is something phenomenal. And I just loved every minute of it.
That's
so
wonderful,
yes.
Charlaine. Yeah.
Yes, I think so too.
And the role that your sort of group played in the World Cup, I mean, what specifically did that entail?
I'm sorry, the sound went off.
Oh, I beg your pardon. I mean, the role that you played in the World Cup, what specifically did your group do for the
We ran the Haya Center. Now, the Haya Center is the Visum Center. Now, you could apply for that specific visa online, and you were awarded the visa, but then you had to come into the center to come and fetch your visa.
Okay.
And this visa gave you access to free public transportation, dental care, anything that you as visitor to Qatar needed.
Okay.
But it was a very I think it was a very responsible job because, of course, like in any situation, there are people who want to take chances and who want to get the cards and everything without being properly in line for that type of thing.
Wow.
And the people had to really be honest and hardworking. And some of our clients or the fans who came in were kind and loving and full of fun. And then you got your very, very built fans who came in. And my group had to really know their stuff to stand up to customers and fans who came in and who were difficult. Because the whole thing is this Visa card gave you access to Qatar, to Saudi Arabia, to Iraq, to Bahrain, and there was one other.
UAE.
Those 4 countries. Yes, and it's not like you can just hand it out like sweeties. You know, you actually need to make sure that they fulfill the criteria before you can actually hand out a visa of that sort. And I kind of felt very, very happy that I could be part of that whole process, and amazing, to be part of something as big as the FIFA World Cup. And I must tell you, it went down perfectly. It was fantastic. And it was the first time it kind of made history, because it was the first time that the FIFA World Cup had been hosted in an Arabic country. And that made it, there were question marks behind that. But I think the fact that it was in an Arabic country, and that we had the rules and regulations of their faith, as well as their strict adherence to their country's rules and regulations, that made it so much more of a success, because there were no incidents. There were no drunken people on the street or at the stadiums, or nowhere. Nah? And that was a huge concern. But there were places where people could enjoy a drink or a beer or something like that. But there was not one incident. And before I left, I went for a massage. She asked me how I had experienced Qatar, because she had been living there for quite some years already. And I said it was fantastic, because what I liked was the fact that everything went according to plan. There were no issues. There were no outbreaks of fans breaking down stadiums and whatever. And her feedback, or what she said to me, was, you know, Charlaine, we all deserve to live in a country like Qatar. And really? I agree with her.
Amazing.
Oh, yes.
South Africa, that's quite a contrast.
That is quite a contrast. Yes. But and I love South Africa. I am in love with South Africa. There's nothing like home. But if I had to choose another country that I could move to, and I've been all across the world, I would move to Qatar, even though it's very hot in July. Yes. No.
Well, Charlaine, that's been fantastically helpful.
It was
Thank you very
basically
much.
my whole experience.
Thank you, Charlaine. I mean, that's been very helpful.
It's a big pleasure.